2025, the German manufacturer Laco is celebrating its 100th birthday with 5 special editions, and everybody expected Flieger, Pilot, more Flieger, more Pilot watches. But now we have a surprise. Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim, and in this episode our topic is Laco, the Laco Edition 100. And as mentioned, we have a special year for Laco 2025. The company is now 100 years old, and during the year they presented 5 special editions as a celebration basically. And the last edition is out now and it's very special. But let's go back into the 50s, because this watch was created after a model from the 50s. And in the 50s Laco wasn't so well known for Flieger watches because the need wasn't there. It was after World War II, and so Laco produced basically middle class watches for the average guy, a bit like Hamilton, Certina, Smith. So we speak about often chrome-plated watches with the plexiglass crystal, of course, but often with the Swiss-made calibre, affordable for everyday use, and with the typical look of these watches, very typical, you will see it. And they really stick to this design, but they added it up with modern materials, which of course is a pleasure, because when you see the originals from the 50s, they are very often in very, very bad shape, because they were meant as tool watches basically, or day-to-day watches, and with the mentioned rather affordable materials. And this new edition is limited to 100 pieces, and I have the honor to present you the number 666. No, I'm kidding, it's the 000, and I think that's the prototype. Okay, let's check it out. Okay, and now let's have a closer look. And at first glance we see somebody very familiar, a bit like an old family member or an old friend here, with the design and these forms, the lugs, the case back, very, very familiar really. But it looks fantastic, looks brand new. But okay, let's go over the specifications first. We have here a case diameter of 38 millimeters, a length, a lug to lug of 44. The height, including the crystal, is 9 millimeters, and we have a lug width of 20. The watch is waterproof up to 50 meters, has a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, and inside works the Sellita SW300-1 without the date function. And the price is 1,450 euros, including VAT. And so to translate that into US dollars, for example, you have to deduct 19% German VAT, and then you can convert it into dollars. And then you are around, what is it then, 1,300 in that area. Okay, but now let's examine the dial. We have a classic, you could call it tuxedo dial, so with black and white, this intersection in black. Then we have some champagne-ish white here in the outer area, and so very typical for the 50s and 60s really. Then we have 4 numerals in gold, 12, 3, 6 and 9. It's not real gold, it's gold plated of course. And we have some very classy dolphin hands with massive modern lume, as you see. Works pretty well. Then we have made in Germany. And of course we have the old Laco logo and with the automatic. And this design and layout pretty much follows historic examples. Same applies to the case, gold plated and classy as hell really. See that? That's the crown with very, very fine lugs. So we see that this lug form is not invented by Nomos or Stover. It was widely seen during the 50s and 60s. A bit dictated by function, and it doesn't disturb the round form of the case so much, because when you have massive lugs you have sort of a streamline, yes, but also it disturbs a bit the round form of the case here, which is not the plan with this watch. And what I also wanted to point out, that you can see here pretty well, is the boxy form of the sapphire crystal, which pretty much looks like a plexi. Really looks like a plexi, but the view, the clearness, the crispness here is really amazing. Look at that. I mean, just nice. Really, really nice. And the watch comes on this horse leather strap in black. Relatively fine, relatively thin. Here's the buckle. Let's examine the case back. There you go. Crisp and clean. Some information. Sapphire crystal, made in Germany. Steel, and so on and so on. Inside is the Sellita, and I just love the form here. which was very popular during the early days of watchmaking. So 40s, 50s, 60s was very popular to just get rid of boxiness or boxy edges. And then you have something a bit like something from outer space, a bit, yeah, it looks a bit like vintage retro science fiction, and I really enjoy this together with a very old school look on the dial. Operating the watch, we have one position. The crown is not extremely comfortable because it's small, but makes some sense, right? It's a dress watch and should have a nice small crown. Works perfectly well, hackable movement. Very, very nice. Feels luxurious, but I think there's a very strong rubber sealing here inside that gives us that feeling. But yeah, very, very nice. And is it all perfect now? Well, it depends a bit on your taste, of course. If you like this rather dated layout and look, because this is rather dated. This is the entire idea. This is a tradition piece that brings back the look and functionality of a very old watch into modern times without the hassle and without the drama, but with the same fascination, with the pure look of the 50s or 60s, early 60s. And so if you don't like this, this is not your watch, but we cannot mark this as a negative, of course, as a minus. What I personally find not spot on is the placing of the numerals, because they look a bit accidentally placed. Because the 12 and the 6 are well into the black, or 1 millimeter at least. See that? And the 3 and the 9, they stay away from the black by 1 millimeter. And this looks a bit accidental. I mean, I understand that a numeral is higher than in width, so we have a bit of a problem to place them equally. But I feel that this is not the optimum. I would have preferred to see a bit more space between every numeral and the black. This is the only minus here I can see. I'm not sure if this is taste, by the way. Yeah, it looks a bit accidentally. This would bug me slightly, but yeah, let me know in the comments if you see this differently or if you can agree. All right, and now let's put it on the wrist. There you have it, 17 centimeter wrist, 38 millimeter watch. Is of course bigger than the original. The original came in, I would say, 34, 35, 36 at a maximum, but very comfortable. Very comfortable, good wrist presence, very long strap, by the way. So if you have massive wrists, not a problem at all. Massive strap here. And so, yeah, pretty handsome and beautiful ensemble. Welcome back. I hope you had your fun. And a little reminder, in case you are in possession of a nice vintage watch or a modern dress watch and you need a very classy strap for that, please visit caseback.watches.com. There you find high-end straps, especially for vintage watch. I have a nice package with 2 straps, massive discount with 18 millimeter lug width, and it's suitable for a lot of watches. And it's really fun for me. I see a lot of my straps nowadays on Instagram and on YouTube. And it makes me proud that people who really know their watches, that they buy Caseback number 1, 2 and 3 straps and sport them on Instagram, YouTube. Sometimes with insane watches really. So caseback.watches.com. And so that's all for this episode. Thank you very much for your attention and until next time.